Do you want to know what the most dangerous BMW is? Stick around, you're going to find out now. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with exoticcarplayplace, and today... So let's get to the three major groups of the most dangerous BMWs available today. The first most dangerous BMWs goes to the group of 1 Series, 3 Series, Z4, X1, gas and diesel versions of all those cars built between 2007 and 2011. Did you know in that cluster there was a large group of those vehicles that had problems? There was over 516,000 recalls for various vehicles in that era from 07 to 11 that all really funneled down to a fact that the car could stall while driving. Oh no. The stalling at speed meant what? Well, it meant that you could be driving along on the freeway and all of a sudden you'd have a scenario where you would lose total power. And the total power loss resulted in no power steering, no power brakes, no speed, no understanding of what speed you're doing. Your lights would go out and you would be stuck driving a strong arm steering wheel trying to get that car down to a safe speed on the side of the road after it lost all power. This was a commonly known failure. So the major cause of this was the positive battery cable tying into the fuse box, where over time it created excess heat because of a high resistance connection would create more heat would create more resistance, and eventually that heat then burned through and popped that connection. That pop connection then resulted in total power loss throughout the entire system and yielded that car virtually unsafe, unpredictable, and you never knew when that was actually going to happen. So there was a recall, and BMW stepped up to the plate, recognized this weakness, and decided to put out a all bulletins page out for any owner of those vintage vehicles. Likely you received a notification in the mail already, but this was a serious problem that affected lots of owners. Fortunately, far fewer than it could have been, and a lot of the recalls capture those on time. That was a very dangerous condition, could have led to many, many serious injuries and or deaths if you didn't take care of that recall. The second cluster, so the second group of most dangerous BMWs, went to a whole host of vehicles, from 328, the 525s, 528s, and the 530s, X3s, X5s with the 3-liter, and of course a Z4 as well. These were also, unfortunately, in that 2007 to 2011 model years as well, coincidentally, as the other issues that we talked about. Let's also not forget the 128i from 2008 to 2011 was as well inflicted with this particular problem. So you'll notice the common denominator here. 6-cylinder engines was consistent in that era. So basically 2007 to 2011, almost every vehicle with the 6-cylinder engines had this problem. And that problem happened to be with fires. Could you believe fires? Fires that were so serious, in fact, that BMW sent a full court press communication to all owners of these vehicles to advise them, leave your vehicle outside. There was too much of a risk for that car when parked to be parked into garage or the carport that the car could ignite. And not only could ignite while it was running, more importantly, it was usually more likely to ignite when it was parked. And because of its potential seriousness, BMW advised owners to park all these vehicles outdoors until that communication was had, and the owners managed to get those vehicles repaired on BMW's dime. Now, what was the cause? What was the culprit of this ignition or this spontaneous combustion? Well, it was actually the PCV, or the positive crankcase ventilation system heater. There's a heater associated with that, helped the emissions, helped with the cold starts and whatnot. That heater system was often known to short circuit, burn up, and cause a fire in the engine compartment, which then led to a lot of vehicles burning to the ground just randomly. It was a widespread issue that we've seen across Europe and North America, caused many, many cars to just spontaneously combust and just boom, fail. There was lots of calls from random people Fire departments were busy across the nation trying to put out fires associated with BMWs randomly, spontaneously combusting. So BMW recognizes, fortunately, before way too many vehicles burned, unfortunately there were a lot by that time, but before even more burned, BMW got the recall out there and managed to get most of these cars fixed in the nick of time. And so if we want to talk about the third grouping of the most dangerous BMWs, that happens to go to BMWs driven by hooligan drivers. Now, we all like to drive our cars in a spirited fashion, but here's some great examples from cars driven to the next limit. Now, you gotta like the way some of these guys drive these cars, but unfortunately, those are conditions that create hazards and danger for other adjacent drivers in the area. And when that happens, boom, look out. Serious injury or harm can happen. So those are my three major groups, guys. The most dangerous BMWs available today. Fortunately, most of it is rectified by recalls, and BMW stepped up and got a lot of that fixed. So if you own a vehicle in that time frame, make sure you do a VIN check, verify with your local dealership, and make sure that if it's not completed, that you take care of those recalls as soon as humanly possible. Thanks again, everybody. Make sure you give Mark at Exotic Car Play Place a thumbs up, like, share with your friends, and social media, of course, is very, very important. You don't want to let somebody that you know or love or one of your friends drive away with this problem in their vehicle. Make sure it gets looked after. Spread the word, very important. So don't forget to subscribe, hit that notifications bell, let you know when the next video's out, and I'd love to see you guys on the next one. Catch you then. Bye-bye.